Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi here. Have another video. Recently, my sons came over and said, hey, why don't we try to play the division together? So with my 3 accounts, we got everything working where we could go ahead and have them come in. So we ran Legendary Capital. It's a familiar place, at least for people in the US. So it gives them some context, and made a lot of jokes about that the Capitol building looks like it is. Whatever your political beliefs are, whatever, notwithstanding. We ran basically with the build that I've always been telling you about, that I mainly run, is the Vile Jammer build, and that worked really well. It stalls in that first part of Capital. You're in an open field and you're running to this little bridge and you're defeating those waves. That's tough in those builds when that's your main way to do DPS. Yes, it hits everyone, but it's not like a weapon DPS or a skill-based DPS. Normally what I do now, when I do that first part of Capital, I'll put in a loadout in that's like my skill-based DPS. So my turret's doing like 230,000 a hit. My drone's doing like 120 a hit with, you know, when I get all my statuses and all that stuff going. So that's kind of what I do. But I didn't want to do that with my sons because this is their first time playing it, first time doing a legendary and all that stuff. And you can kind of see in this video, you know, the Chungas are, at this point when I run this with people, these guys are going down. At this point, we have figured it out in the group that when those Chungas come, we waste them. But we have these kind of builds that I would say they're more supporty, and we have 3 of them. Also, remember I did the video, maybe don't, I did a video about, you know, making friends and meeting people in the division. And Chinoy, CHINOX 25 is one of those people I met him playing Summit Legendary. We were going through there. I had a tank build, which was pretty stout, and we got up a couple things, and then I think we made it through, but I was having struggling, so he put on his tank build, and he'll come into my group slot, and he has this build where, you know, when you deploy the shield, everyone gets the extra armor, and he's just doing that nonstop. He's a great person to have in a group, understands the game, brings a lot of benefit. So he jumped in the stage before this. That build is very easy to play. My main character is like 3,700 shield level. My middle character is like 1,750, and my little baby character is 350. So not super geared. I don't have all the extra benefits, but that's pretty easy. My one son was playing Seekers and the Pulse. My other son was playing Seekers and a Healing, and I was just doing whatever I needed to do to fill in. You know, maybe I threw a shot trap. I told everyone I'd start throwing out this decoy. I'm going to probably try to do a video where I just really buff the decoy, like maybe with more skill health, and there's like a pair of gloves, motherly love, that you can use. So all that stuff. So I was just going to try to make a, you know, a super buff decoy, but that's for another time. So in this case, you know, we're doing the best. I want you to think about Legendary. I'm always a big, I'm always, you know, repping that, you know, you should do heroics and Legendary. And I think if you have a group of people that you can play with, that you know that you can communicate with, it makes that Legendary very easy. I imagine that, you know, they were first-time players. It's easy because I can look over the shoulder. I can tell them, here's what's coming next. I can communicate that. So if you're in a clan, that's another great situation where your clan mates know how to do this stuff, and it makes all of these easier. And you get more confident because you do more content and you get to see things. And, you know, it just makes your build better because you just say, ooh, I'd like to try that or not. I also appreciate everyone that's commenting on the videos. I get a lot of great suggestions for builds or different ways to do things, and everyone's been really great in sharing, and it's a great community. At a certain point, I'm going to try to do some of those videos and try to see how some of those different things work. Another thing that's going on in what I've been doing, I did the video on the DPS. I'm going to do another video on the DPS. As I get better at editing these videos, I'm going to get them in a format where probably the Heartbreaker and the, oh heck, what's that other one? The other stacking build green thing. I'll think of it in a sec. Striker and Heartbreaker. Those two probably I will just do together because they're super powerful, but you got to ramp up to get the power. And one gives you protection in AR, and the other one gives you just, you know, that stacking. So at maximum, when you have all that stuff in there, they're pretty formidable builds. But I want to give you a video where you can see, you know, them both doing a real world scenario. Soloing. Almost all the builds in the division, I think you can run anything you want in the division if you're in a group and the people are competent enough. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, you have to have enough damage. You know, I've talked about that in DCU. There's a part where the chungers are coming and you got to mow them down before they get you and put hives on you. So that's kind of like a DPS test. So in theory, I think people could run through there in purples. I don't know, I haven't tried that. Maybe that's something I should try. But I just have a feeling I'm not doing as much damage because in this video, we're doing damage, but it's AoE damage, not concentrated damage. So again, with DPS builds, you have single target DPS, you have AoE DPS, but really that single target DPS, when you're trying to put down an elite heavy, that's where you need that. Or a boss, you need that DPS. You just can't fake that part. So that's what's coming up. I was surprised that my kids could get through there. We just went through there pretty easy. I didn't really tell them about the chungers. They found out like they had that hive capability. We were pulsing a lot. It's when you have two people that are relying on jammer pulse, you kind of are waiting for the other one's stuff to cool down. So when you pulse, you'll get that damage, or you'll proc the vial part. You can do that with, I think it's in the gunner where they have that one where it disorients. Those are complementary. So you could probably use that if you had a person that had a quick acting disorienter and then had a quick acting jammer, then you're putting vial on both of them and you're not kind of interfering with each other. So there's a lot of different variations. But we got through here. I'm not going to show you to the end because I was not playing on my normal computer and it just cut the video off like about 5 minutes before we finished. So I had to start a new thing. It wasn't that exciting. It was the part where you killed everyone and then there's like 2 or 3, maybe the boss is still left and maybe a sniper that was on the other edge of the map. So it wasn't too exciting. You've probably seen that already. A quick thing and this probably should have been at the beginning, sorry, but if you've never done Legendary Capital, there's, at least 2 ways to do it. One is you come out of the gate and go to the left like we did in this video, and it will fit 4 people. Usually, if I'm healing, I go in this spot. I just always go in the spot because I know where it is. You have 2 up front, and then you have a person that's kind of exposed in the back. The other thing you can do is you can do it from the steps, and maybe I'll get a video where we do it from the steps and show you how we do that. Again, thank you, YouTube. It's getting near the holiday season. I hope everyone's safe and peaceful. Thanks again for all your support. Bye.